Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? I hope you're happy and healthy. I appreciate you joining us. A very special interview today on member-supported Hawaii Public Radio. It's hard to overestimate this group's significance here. Over nearly 40 years, Journey have built a legacy in Hawaii with strings of sold-out arena shows, appearances inside the Diamond Head Crater, including their second ever live show as a band, repeat visits over decades. Journey have come to be known as perhaps the single biggest music group in Hawaii. A testament to that would be over a decade so far in Island Radio. I've been fortunate to speak with our next guest several times. Phoners, backstage at the Blaisdell, even a memorable in-studio appearance right here in Honolulu. Their fearless leader and guitarist began his own history prior to that as a member of Santana. We'll tap into what he can remember because he's got a real sharp mind. They return in massive fashion. 3 Blaisdell Arena dates, December 12th, 14th, 15th. Check Ticketmaster for what's left. Eclipse, their latest studio album, The Calling, his new solo record. We're grateful to reconnect with our friend from Journey, the great Neal Schon. Aloha, mahalo, my brother.
Hey, aloha, Dave. How are you, brother?
It's real good, man, and I'm high-fiving you. How you doing? And it's great to hear your voice.
We're doing great. You know, we're getting ready to play a show here in Winnipeg, Canada tonight. Just started snowing here. That's pretty wild. But we're heading home tomorrow for Thanksgiving. I want to wish everybody out there have a beautiful Thanksgiving and beautiful Hawaii. We can't wait to get there, you know.
And we know you can. You got the history of histories in this market. We've talked about some of this stuff before, so forgive me. It's a different group of folks, pretty big statewide sort of audience, and obviously you know the kind of significance you got in the community. I wanted to sort of go back to what you can remember from the beginning. Was that December 1970 gig with Santana at the Blaisdell, a couple of them, was that your very first visit to the islands, Neal?
Yes, it was. You know, I played with Santana. Yeah, that was my first visit to the island. And then, you know, as you know, we played almost every year after that, like you mentioned, in the Crater Festival, and used to stay at the old Otani Mansion. I know that burned down years ago, but have some beautiful memories, you know, of hanging in that house and jamming with the band. And really, really great memories.
When you think back to some of those times, you came here, you did a pair of dates. I remember before you told me you actually stayed here for sort of a longer stay, right?
You know, every time I go there, I like try to stay as long as I can. You know, because then I get this like slow motion action like you're in, bro. Everybody, you know, it's really the only place I can ever go where I actually slow down and I relax for real. I actually chill out when I'm in Hawaii. And, you know, I've gone a lot of other places for vacations. Never quite has the tranquil effect that the islands do for me.
Was it just a coincidence, Neal, that your second ever show was here on January 1st, 1974 at the Crater? Or is that just part of what led to this place holding the special significance that it does for Journey?
You know, I think we've always had a really special place in our hearts for Hawaii for years now, ever since I came. And, you know, Herbie Herbert, you know, our old manager, that you know, made a big effort to get, you know, our very first Journey concert ever into the Crater Festival, New Year's Day. And, you know, ever since then, it's been a must. You know, it's some place that we love to go. I'd love to go and play every year. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen every year, but we're really, you know, grateful and very happy about the following that we still have there, and so looking forward to getting back. Because I tell you what, we talk about it often, and there's no place that's more fun to play than when we come and we play the Blaisdell. You know, the audience just always comes unglued. It's electrifying, and it's a beautiful, you know, moment. And where we can really, we feel like we completely connect with people. And I have to say, even much more so than a lot of other places we play. It's always very, very special. And even my guitar tech, Adam Day, who's seen a lot of shows, I said, Adam, what do you think our best shows are? And he always says, Hawaii was something else. And so we're looking forward to getting back there with Arnell. Arnell, you know, had been down for a little bit, You know, he had acid reflux, really bad acid reflux, having problems with that, and had bad inflammation. And so we took a little break, and we canceled a few gigs that we're making up now. And he's just singing his butt off, you know. And so, like, really, our last show was one of his best. And I'm just like, whoa, he's back. And the band sounds amazing as always. And, you know, we're kicking it out. We're having some fun.
Not like you needed a secret weapon, but he brings you that added element when it comes to the islands because of like our large Filipino community here, obviously. I mean, you didn't need any incentive to help you guys do your record-breaking string of dates that you always do at the arena. Last time you were here, you did 3. You got 3 this time. But that's sort of, I look at that as like another bonus, if you will, on another layer of your added local appeal.
I think so. You know, I mean, I think really Arno has brought a lot to the table for us internationally, worldwide. You know, we're more looked at and known as an international band now than we were before. Even though, you know, I have no complaints of what we did before, too. We've just been extremely fortunate from, you know, Journey's whole history. You know, yes, did we pay a lot of dues in the beginning? Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have had, you know, somebody following us around in some kind of reality show in the very beginning when we started, when we were all traveling in 2 station wagons for a 13-hour drive, road crew and band. You know, it was really wild. You know, that would have been great TV stuff. But we did like 3.5 hard, grueling years like that. And then graduated up to a Winnebago and then a bus and then airplanes, you know. But, you know, we've done all the work. And then and time again, you know, when we decided to rebuild the band, even going back with Steve Algeri when Perry decided to leave, you know, we, you know, rebuilt the band. It took forever. You know, it was a lot of work. You know, and now we're back again. And it feels really good. You know, when you work really hard at something and you just don't give up, you know, we have, you know, everything to show for it. And our fans are the best in the world. They've always been the greatest fans ever, and we just love what we do.
With some of that building the relationship with the fans, Neal, is evident. I have this quote. I have this, and last time we were together in person in the studio, I remember I showed you some of this stuff because it was like I have this listener. He sends me historic documents, old rock clippings, newspaper articles, that sort of thing. Back in the K-Poi days, it was Rick the Mystery Faxer. These days, it's Steve M. the Mystery Emailer. So this is a review of you from the Advertiser back in 1970 at the Blaisdell Arena. Probably your very first appearance here in the state. And the reviewer said this about you. So when you were just talking about people making that connection, fans sticking with you, the guy said, quote, they have, and this is about Santana, and this is talking about 16-year-old you, he says, they have added some whiz kid guitarist who sounds as if he will be all right as soon as his confidence build up. He's only 16 years old. And when you think about that, it's like your whole life you've spent sort of reinventing that band time and time again.
You know what? It's I don't know if it's reinventing, but, you know, I think that I continue to move forward, Dave. You know, that's my motto, is never rest on the laurels of what you have already accomplished, you know. And I think in a sense that's the only way that I can continue to grow and move forward and try to, you know, become a better guitar player in person. You know, I just, you know, I love playing music. I've always loved playing music. It's where my heart is at and soul. And, you know, everything else just comes along with it, which is a complete blessing. You know, I had a lot of fun, you know, making all the solo records I've made in the past, which is wild that a lot of people are just starting to find out about them. I mean, The Calling, my recent one is you know, my 7th solo record. And so, you know, and I have another one in the can that's done. And so I just love creating and I love performing live. And, you know, Journey has been, you know, the greatest band. Santana, of course, too, you know, was an amazing band for me set my eyesight on where I want to go and what I want to do. And what an amazing experience that was to play with Carlos, Greg, and the rest of the guys. They opened my head to so many different types of music that I never knew existed. And, I'll never, ever forget that experience. And actually, I remember it, going on with my life now. I go back and I remember when I was in Ghana, Africa, in 1971. And there's, inspiration that comes from there, whether it's like a drum beat that I recall from what I remember from way back then. And it's really wild. I've experienced so many great things on tour and traveling the world with both bands. But, Journey, we've really spent a lot of time here. As you said, we're coming up on a 40th year anniversary, and so that's quite a bit of time.
It's crazy when you talk about the tribal aspect. When you think of your second ever concert as Journey, being here in the Diamond Head Crater, when you walk down on stage as just such a young cat there with your band, what was crazy is you had already been a vet of the Crater so many years because you had been coming New Year's Day for the last several years before that. You had gone the last 3 consecutive New Years. You had been in that crater, so there you were. And you talk about the evolution kind of journey you've been on. There's an example of it and how it connects to Hawaii.
Yeah, I really would like to play the Crater again, just because such an historic place for myself and the remembrances that I have from being there and connecting with everyone from the islands. It's just a trippy place to play. I loved it every time that we did it, and would love to do it again. I don't even know, do you have concerts there anymore?
They did a couple of them back in 2006 and 2007, but they were not on the scale of the kind of thing that you did so often because you kept coming back, and you did them in 77. You did a pair of them. I mean, I have this entire history of you that goes through the years where you started sort of at the Crater, and then you did a few venues in between, and the Crater stopped happening as a venue probably in the 80s as a regular thing. But by then you had moved to the arena, and one of the things you're really known for, you're coming back there. It's 3 shows. That's an impressive run. 2 things I have on that. One is, when you really established yourself here in Hawaii with that venue, you did 5 nights in a row. It may be very hard for you to remember that because that same year, 1983, you were doing that at a lot of big venues. Can you remember that as a high point here, or do they all blur together?
No, I do remember, and I do recall the actual event, when we were doing a 5-night string there. And actually, I'm really glad that we're doing 3. I'm surprised that I think that we could do even more. I don't even know where ticket sales are at, but I would love to stay as long as I could and play as long as I could,
You're doing great with ticket sales, Neil. I mean, think of it, three nights in that arena, brother, and all anyone has to do, when you talk about those other dates on your tour, when you mention Canada and stuff, it's funny because if you look at Journey's website, there's only one place in the country that they're doing 3 nights in a row, and it's here. I mean, what does that say?
Well, check that out. My favorite place to hang, too, so it's going to be great. Flying my mother over this time, and we're going to have a lot of family there. It's going to be a great time.
So that's how you're making it special, Neil? Now, that's something that's worth hearing about. How are you making it special? Describe some of that. Your mom's coming. That's really heavy.
Yeah, she's never been to Hawaii before, and my stepfather, and so they're going to be coming over, and I'm trying to make it very special for them, and, seeking out a really beautiful house somewhere to hang at rather than a hotel, and we're going to spend some extra time there and enjoy the island,
When it comes to your record, are there any ways that your record's going to be able to be exposed to folks during this journey? I'm speaking about The Calling. Is there a way that comes together at all? Do people at the Journey shows get a taste of that at all?
Well, you know what? Right now, they definitely play my music when everybody's in the auditorium, right before we come on. We haven't gotten to playing anything on stage. I don't know. I have to talk to the guys. There's certainly enough time in the show to stick maybe one song in there. I'll talk to the guys and see how they feel about it. But I know honestly, my solo stuff is my solo stuff, and even though I really think that Calling is a rocking record, and I would love to play it live, and I will play it live, I just don't know if it's in a Journey, situation to play it live. I know that everybody comes to our concerts wants to hear Journey songs. But The Calling is a rocking record, man. I don't know if you've checked it out, but it's a very electric record, and I really personally believe that it'll be a record that if it gets any airplay from you guys in Hawaii, that a lot of people will dig it on the islands because it's an island-type record.
Because of your huge connection out here, I was having this idea that maybe when you were in town, since you were doing several nights, and I knew you'd be in Honolulu, if you were up for it, maybe you do a little interview feature just about The Calling. We talk about working with Igor and Steve and Jan, why you did it.
I'd love to, man. I'll come in and we'll do that.
Is that cool?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do a nice thing, and we're statewide, huge reach. It's like about 5 times bigger than the other thing that we used to do together, so it'll be good for you, reaching the other island.
That's wicked. I mean, if you want me to come in, I'll make time and I'll come in there, and we can do a track by track. I'll take you down memory lane, how it all came about. It's a really cool story. The record really just came out of nowhere. And that's kind of the magic of the record for me.
Oh, and with some of those characters, I will do that. I'll do my homework. I'll learn the entire thing. And then, yes, I'd like to do a track by track, especially considering that it has those kind of stories. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope you had fun having a little chit-chat today, Brother Neal.
I did. And I can't wait to get there. We're getting closer, man.
Oh.
Like I said, we're going to go home for Thanksgiving, enjoy Thanksgiving at home with the family, and then we're back up in Canada again. This will be our 4th time in Canada, though, while we've been out on tour this last half a year. And so it's been crazy because we started late in our tour, and we've sort of done the same amount of work that we usually do in 1 year and a half a year. And so it's been really a lot of flying around and zigzagging across the States and to Canada. And like I said, you would think that if we're going to do a Canadian run, you do like all the shows all at once. Well, this is our 4th time going back and forth from the States to Canada. So pretty crazy.
Big arena shows, too. I'm so proud of you. I've been looking at your site, seeing them, packing them in, big 16, 17.
Yeah, and it's really amazing. What's amazing to me is that, in a time like we're in, where, everybody is hurting financially, and, everybody's trying to get back on their feet. The government's trying to get it back together, since, Clinton was in office. And, it's just a hard time. And, to have us be able to do this well, we're definitely grateful. And I think that it just testifies to the fact that Journey music makes people feel good, and maybe forget about some of those woes.
And the international branding, I think, you've ascended to that. There is something to what you were speaking about earlier. Not just yes, you're right, it is feel-good music without question, nostalgic music, but it also, you have matriculated, whatever the word would be, evolved into more of an international brand. I see it myself, for sure. So
yeah, I love Arnell. He's the greatest guy. He's very generous and gracious and just an amazing person, besides being an amazing singer. And so, the day that I found him on YouTube was a true new beginning for the band,
Oh, he's done so well by you, and I bet you've learned some good things from him. I bet it sounds like it, that he is a good guy, and it's fun to just be able to gel a little bit more when people have the right energy.
Right, exactly. It's all good energy, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's hot. I give you a big hug and a high five. Thank you for doing it. I'll talk to Anna. We'll work out a nice thing when you're in town.
Okay, Dave. It's good to talk to you, bud.
Good talking to you, too. You travel safe. I'm very proud of you. You've done a lot of this whole Renaissance journey. I high-five you. I look forward to celebrating it in person with you. Travel safe, Neal.
Cool, Dave. I'll see you soon, man.
Aloha.
Bye-bye.